Hello and welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and between working early shifts and having a lot of stuff to do during the evenings after those days, I've just not had a chance to even sit down and do any recording, so I am happy that things are more or less back to normal now and I can just focus on doing what I enjoy doing. And I figure since I haven't had any practice for a while, I'm good. Pardon me. I'm gonna be a little rusty. So let's counter. Let's do a de-rust run. So we are going to come in and we are going to shake off some of this rust and get back to being a lean, mean, summon killing machine. And I think the best way to do that is with a run that focuses on things that I really like. So in this case, range and high casting speed, or just multiple casts in general. So we're gonna do it this way. We're gonna go. Actually, you know what? Let's really shake things up. You know what? Let's really shake things up a lot further. Alright, so I guess we're being a storm mage today. There we go, that'll work out quite nicely. Then we're gonna go tempo for a little bit of that high tempo feeling. Then we are going to start... Oh my, what are we starting with? Well... Let's see. I was thinking about starting with the Gloves of Gambit. Because I know everything I have is a projectile. I think that will work out quite nicely. The only thing I have that isn't a projectile is Thunderline, and you know, I think it'll be okay. Now, before I forget, because I know I forgot last time, I guess we're doing piano, and it's already on piano. So, no visiting melody this time. I know, bummer. Alright, I'm not so rusty that I've forgotten what the bane of my existence is, so... Come on. Man, just say living courtyards, that's all I care about. There we go. Alright, now let's get started on this de-rust run so I can get back to doing my Signature Arcana Spotlight series. And this 7-Up brought to you by the grocery store. Alright. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Darksage, it didn't look very rusty. And you're right, it didn't look very rusty, but we haven't exactly used any rust rig yet. That's the thing, after not having had any practice for like a week, I definitely feel like I need a rust rig run. Because, yeah, admittedly, that one felt a little rusty. Hello, sir. Have anything interesting for me? Well, candy. But who doesn't love candy, honestly? Alright, what do we got here? I'm probably gonna want Bouncing Bubble. Well, wait a minute, am I though? Because it's gonna be resisted by Freya, but it's still a good control method. Especially after it gets upgraded, but it's also one of those spells that's really underwhelming with Retro Floor Plan on. I don't know. That one I might have to say, I'm not so sure. Oh no, there's the rust. I feel it now. Okay, hold on. Let me find. I'll not find the boss room. Let me go activate the portals in the boss room. Then we will go ahead and give you Dynamic Disarray, see if you give us anything interesting to add onto our build. There's not a whole lot here that actually fits our build, to be honest. But campfires will definitely help. And which one is Rippling Rupture? Okay, good. It's the one I thought it was. Then those spells will be good to tide me over until I get the stuff that would actually work out best for this build. And there you go. Though admittedly, I'm kind of liking the idea of making enemies walk into exploding campfires. Hey, Dark Sage, there was probably an easier way to get to that portal. Jeez, even when I do use the portals, I'm doing it wrong. Okay, I need to get rid of you. Alright, is there anything here that I want to grab before I leave? I'm going to say I'll grab that, just in case I come across somewhere to actually use it for something. Admittedly, maybe Rippling Rupture is just fine for this build. I do, however, like the idea of enhanced braking twister for this run over engulfing fissure. Now, let me see what else I can get out of this run. When I say this run, I mean this floor. Because there might be something else to use my money on. Such as potentially a new set of instincts so I don't throw a projectile at a mirror shield. You know, the exact thing I was trying to prevent from happening. Why I went to this floor first so I wouldn't have to deal with it on a higher difficulty. Now, I'm not even at Stormdraft on the Signature Spotlight series, but I will say this: there's definitely a tier set. I'm not even sure I'm going to put up a separate tier, but there's definitely a classification for signature spells that are good as spells, not so great as signatures. And that is definitely where Stormdraft falls. Just a good all-around spell, but its signature cast leaves a lot to be desired. Well, okay, I guess I can give you the raincoat. Don't know what you're gonna do with the raincoat in Undermine, but there you go. Okay, definitely some bad decisions having been made there. That is part of what the D-Rust is all about, is coming back to my much healthier decision-making process. And one of the healthiest decisions that you can make is not beating yourself up over little things.
Dark Sage, are we even talking about the same thing anymore? Also, why do I sound like Kermit the Frog?
Well, you see, hypothetical listener, the reason why you sound like Kermit the Frog is because you sniffed too many helium whippets as a kid. As far as why bring that up, because yes, it is just a thing of a healthy mindset. And healthy mindset begins with developing healthy habits, and one of those healthy habits you can develop is not beating yourself up over little things. Yeah, I made some bad decisions there, but one thing I shouldn't do is take that as a sign that I need to actually let it affect things. Like, even if I make such a bad decision that I lose the run, there's definitely no reason for me to let that affect my mental state. Like, it's not good for the game state, of course, but ultimately, so long as ultimately, so long as you're healthy and you can point to some good things in your life, there is no reason to let yourself get swept up or think any less of yourself. And I say these things not because it's like a random thing that comes to mind. Like, it's one of those things I've been thinking about because I do have that problem. Like if I perform poorly in a game, and as someone who plays Splatoon on a regular but not necessarily competitive basis, I end up beating myself up over things a lot. And no, it's not necessarily because of the game. It's because I tend to get down on myself for my performance, and some of you will recognize this. I've explained it before. That.
Hey, Dark Sage, I think you forgot the portal again.
So, I say this speaking as someone who deals with mental problems and feelings of inadequacy all the time. I'm just telling you, don't let that get you down. There is no reason to get super upset with yourself over a game, even if you do make a mistake. You use it as a learning experience, and then you move on. So the whole point there is I'm trying to be motivational and kind, and it just comes off as me being like, maybe this was a weird time to start talking about, mental health issues and feelings of inadequacy and whatnot, but, it's one of those things that happens to me regularly, so it's something that's generally always on my mind. Christ, that was a waste. I didn't even want any of these. Yeah, no, I don't want any of that. Alright. Alright, moving on. Now, I've looked up this phenomenon before where in order to feel comfortable, you feel like you need to be perfect all the time. I forget what the actual term for it is, but those of you who deal with it all the time know what I'm talking about. It's this form of, like, self-destructive perfectionism. And it's one of those things that, even in an otherwise healthy person, leaves them, struggling with feelings of inadequacy, like, no, I could have done that better, what's wrong with me? And it's like, well, I mean, have you considered that either you're just feeling a little bit off, or things are, maybe not as detrimental to yourself and your progress as either a person or, in this case, a player of a game as you think you are. Like, maybe there's nothing wrong at all. Like, sometimes outside factors are a thing that make things difficult. Maybe the problem is you're going up against a competitive team that's either a lot better or just has more than likely different experiences, different things that they've learned. Like I don't say that to disparage anyone or myself for that matter. I say that because even if you do have the capability to be a great player at a competitive game, sometimes the people that you run into when you go to play they just have an amount of practice that's take that you don't. They've come across scenarios that you haven't. They've learned things that counter what you're doing. And you haven't learned how to identify that problem yet, perhaps. Just like Iris hasn't learned to put up the things that I actually need to upgrade. Oh, and for those of you who are wondering, no, that's not passive-aggressive, that's just straight-up aggressive. Okay, we take this to add to the Vault of Midas. And we take this for, curse eatery reasons. And this seems like a good thing to have, even if just temporarily. Oh, and for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you will understand what just happened there and why it was so bad. Don't try to dash through a group of enemies. It will usually end up backfiring. And even if it doesn't backfire, it's still a really bad idea because it just puts you on such a back foot for an encounter. And also, if you end up stopping even briefly in and amongst that group of enemies that you're trying to dash through, and they start beating, and they land a hit on you, you just got hit stunned, and now you're getting beat up, really badly. You don't want to get beat up. Granted, it's typically what happens in beat 'em ups, but you don't want to get beat up. Yeah, that was bad. I didn't even get a chance to use his the stun time. No thanks. Moving on. Alright, now let's go ahead and switch those up. Ultimately, what I'm trying to say is, you don't need to be in that negative mindset. You can be so much better. And let's take this as more practical advice. Let's say you're playing a game and you feel yourself starting to tilt really badly. Ow. If that starts to happen and you think it's something that's going to really negatively affect you, just take a break. Even, like, it doesn't even need to necessarily be a long break. You can just... take a few minutes, do something else, put your mind in a better spot. If a few minutes doesn't work, take off a few more minutes. Take off an hour, a day, a few days, a week. Sometimes you might need more than that. But there is no harm in taking a break from something that's making you feel bad about yourself, if it's making you feel bad about yourself. Sometimes the secret to keeping a healthy relationship between you and the things that you do is to take a short break from them so you don't get burned out. Like, trust me, it's a real thing. It happens to YouTubers a lot. That whole thing about getting burned out is more common than you think. But I mean, you don't need to be a YouTuber to get burned out on things. Okay, that was another surefire sign that maybe I need some Rust Ridge. Alright, so this is already lowering my cooldowns, so... I don't need that anymore. We'll pick up the Wanderer's Mechanism. And this is... I grabbed that because of the Dagger of Midas, of course. Not bad. Of course, I'd be willing to drop more money for an upgrade to Air Spinner or Thunderline. Like, I don't know if that's too on the nose or not. Like, I don't want to think that you haven't gotten the hint. And that should max out the gains from Pathfinder's Knapsack. Alright. I think just to be on the safe side, we go to the next floor with a healing potion. Nothing here is that useful. Granted, the bouquet of roses would have turned this into the prestigious diploma, but I don't really have a use for that. Now, once again, I made that same mistake of trying to dash through my enemies to get where I wanted to go. Okay, that was a series of decisions that didn't work out as planned. You know, like that, because they have an instant goddamn jump. Okay, yeah, no, let's not stand around to get punched by stone golems. I am, like, actively confused as to why she hates upgrading Air Spinner. Alright, so what do I want to get rid of for what? I'm going to tell you right now, there is no top hat in the store, so we're not getting Magician's outfits. So then, do I take something defensive? Or do I grab the luxury handbag to increase my overall damage? I think we all know what I'm picking. Even if my basic ends up losing out on that because Iris can't take a hint. I hope she won't be so difficult to work with in Wizard of Legend too, like, I'm serious. Or maybe it'll be a different person doing the cards the next time around, but if it is someone different, I hope that they are better at reading the room. No, that's a dead end. We don't want to take dead ends. We want to take we don't want to take the roads that go through to our destination. Seriously, game? Okay, a little late for that to be useful. And I got beat up really hard on that floor. Trust me, the Rust Rid was necessary. Though I do feel like part of the problem is a signature spell with a weak signature cast. There we go. Why are you still alive? This is what I mean. The effects don't last long enough. Or I'm not going to say the effects, but it just doesn't have that raw stopping power that you really want. But just the spell by itself has much better regular effects. So it's one of those spells where you take it because it's a good spell, but then maybe you use things like the Quill that restores health when you cast a signature spell. Or like the autograph pad would work nicely for this because you're not necessarily trying to cast the signature. Ow. No, the pain! Oh, that was not good. Went to the Prometheus school of running away from things. Oh yeah, definitely needed the Rust Rid. Remind myself of what I'm not supposed to do to win a run.
But Dark Sage, you still won.
Yes, I know, but it was one of those sloppy victories that admittedly was pulled off by some decent decisions made earlier in the run, but was not pulled off thanks to bad combat sense. So, you know, take it for what it's worth, or maybe that's just me beating myself up some more. I'm very good at that, by the way, which is why I wanted to talk about that, because I'm a little too good at it. I always seem to default to punishing myself whenever I think things are going wrong, and that's why I wanted to talk about that mindset, because it's very unhealthy and very detrimental to one's sense of self and recovery. You don't need these things in your life to be good. You don't punish yourself when things go bad. You look at them and say, alright, that's how I don't do this. Now, let me figure out a way to do it correctly, or just to improve. What I'm trying to say is, you only have one you, and you don't want to spend all of the time that you spend with yourself constantly thinking that you're a broken down, washed up failure, or that you can't do anything right. That's not true. Even if you fail at something, all you've really discovered is a way to not accomplish the goal you're looking to accomplish. So what do? You just try again. You pick yourself up and find a way to accomplish it. But I'm rambling at this point, but I hope you guys at least got the positive message of what I was trying to say, and I hope that message finds you healthy, happy, and safe. And that's all I've got for right now, so thank you guys very much. Thank you for being patient with me through my very busy week. Hopefully things will be getting back to normal now, and I can continue to regale you with tales of a, wizard of legend. I'm not going to go into self-detrimental humor, because that would go completely against the message I was trying to say. So, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you coming here and spending some of your free time here with me today. I hope this video finds you healthy, happy, and safe, like I said earlier. And I will catch you in the next one. My name is Dark Sage Walker, and you take care, everybody.